Hey Toku fans, welcome to another episode of Talkin Toku. I am Toku Chris, joined today by technically 4 special guests. The first special guest is my son, little Darren, who just did not want to deal with Daddy being in another room without him. So Darren's one of our special guests today. We also have J-Man, Josh. Josh, how you doing, buddy?
Doing great.
We also have our good buddy Solink Chu Tom / R2D2 there. Tom, how you doing?
People, people, people.
Those aren't words.
That's good enough. And then our special guest today, we have Matt, better known to people on the internets as Dukemon. Matt, how you doing?
Hey, Dukemon!
Good, how's everybody?
They
excellent,
are well.
Excellent.
Oh god, baby's pulling on the cord. Okay, so... Anyways, we're going to do a quick episode real quick regarding KYURANGER, because that comes out... We're recording on Friday, and KYURANGER comes out tomorrow, which is Saturday, but by the time you watch this, it'll be probably Saturday morning. So later today, live streaming. So we just wanted to get together real quick and talk about kind of our hopes, our dreams, our aspirations, and the fact that I did not get HL Jade as predicted.
So that's awesome. I did.
Oh, did? No!
But I ordered everything anyway, so it's okay.
So, yes, I have the first entire wave minus the belt and the weapon coming to me. Courtesy of Hobby Link Japan. Not a site sponsor. Not a podcast sponsor.
They should be. They should be.
I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer. There you go, Bubba. Now you can see yourself. So, anyhow, another big thing... Oh, God. Another big thing regarding KYURANGER is the fact that we had a lot of new stuff leak out this last week. Or I shouldn't say leak, but...
Yes, we did. Well...
The Geek Cauldron, you know.
Yeah, leaked adjacent.
Yeah. So, before we get into our hopes and dreams for the show that starts later today / tomorrow, what have you, let's talk about kind of this new stuff. Josh and Tom, we talked about KYURANGER on our first episode. You guys are kind of on the fence. Any changes with the revelation of basically the purple and the sky blue Rangers coming out in their mechs?
I love that bear.
I love
the unicycle.
No, you keep going, Tom.
Bear on the unicycle and the Ranger with the scarf. Yeah, that's they're all out there now. They're all out there. I don't know where they're going, but I think I like where they're going.
Yeah,
I don't know where they're going, but I think it's a good direction.
Yeah.
Bears are awesome. I like that it's based off of, like, is Ursa Major the Big Dipper?
Yes.
Yeah,
it's
whatever,
in
I don't
there.
care.
It's in there.
Stars and stars and then ladles and bears. Oh my, it's pretty cool. So I really like the purple something commander guy design.
Is that the dragon
thing.
one?
Yep.
Yes, Ryu commander.
Yep.
Or Ryu. I can't Japanese. But anyway, I really dig that design super hard. I always love it when we get a purple ranger, and the last few purple rangers we've had have been fantastic. So let's hope it keeps up the trend.
Pretty much, yeah. I'm excited for the new. I'm just gonna call them non-Japanese names because we'll be here forever trying to pronounce it. Or at least I will be. So just kind of like the purple Dragon Zord. I think that thing looks cool. I was talking to Matt in a separate conversation, and I was like, I can already see that being repainted by Bandai America into like a Serpentera in 2.5 years.
Ooh, yeah.
Absolutely.
So-
That is definitely going to happen. If it doesn't happen, I'm going to be really confused.
And I'm more worried about why I never thought of a bear on a unicycle, any toy whatsoever. Like, shame on all these other companies like Hasbro and, you know, Playmates, and even Bandai for not coming up with a bear on a unicycle Zord beforehand. Like,
Agreed.
And I also really like the armor upgrade, like the Pegasus armor. That looks really cool.
Bear on a unicycle or Goku on a unicycle?
Why do
Which
you
Android
prefer
is
that?
that?
Customs
Is
and I
that
had some
Android
spare
19?
parts left over.
Is that Android 19? 20? 21?
It is Android. I don't care. This is a bootleg head and a half bootlegged body with a wheel that I found.
I expect a full gallery on Collection DX within the next hour.
Full review. We need a full review.
Full review.
Yes, Darren.
That's right, Darren.
Exactly.
That's how I view my work too.
He's having fun.
Yeah.
He likes hanging out with Dad.
What
and
were we
his friends.
talking about?
We're talking about Q Ranger. Matt,
Bears and
What-
dragons.
Boss, and let's
fun
not
stuff.
talk
What-
about politics.
Matt, what are your thoughts on Bears and Dragons and the return of Justin, the Turbo Blue Ranger, into Super Sentai?
Yeah. I have never. I mean, it's been a while since I've seen a Super Sentai where I just automatically went and decided that I was going to buy every single thing.
Yeah.
Everything that I see from Q Ranger looks good. I usually buy all the mecha just on principle because I've been doing it since I was like 5. But this year looks like I'm actually going to enjoy buying them and not buying them and being confused as to why I bought them.
Yeah.
I mean, we have, I don't know what I'm allowed to talk about, but we got leaks today about more Rangers.
Yeah, talk
And
about
I
it.
don't know. Talk about it? Okay. So the Seiza Blaster was released in Japan along with the rest of Wave 1. And as always happens, there's hidden sounds in the blaster. And fans already hacked the sounds.
Nice.
And revealed that we have at least 2 more Rangers coming. One being the Phoenix and the other one being Orion.
Nice. I bet he's gonna have like, oh, dude. I hope he transforms like a Kamen Rider with a belt.
Oh yeah, Ryan's belt. Come on. The going theory is that each robot in the line, each core, is going to utilize one or more of the Rangers to like complete the robot. So the second robot with the dragon has the dragon, the bear, and the scorpion. The idea is that the Phoenix is going to come out, and you can combine Phoenix with the Eagle, and then Orion will be able to combine with the 2 robots.
Do you think?
So we'll see.
Do you think they're gonna do a cluster?
I think they are. I think they're trying to combine this line is like a melding of Go-Onger and KYURANGE'S, which are the 2 lines that sold really well for them. So KYURANGER had a ranger for every mech, and Go-Onger had all the mechs and all the pieces being able to combine. I think that's where we're headed.
Yeah, because the dragon one came out, and you could tell majority of the dragon is on the back. Like if they combine all together. So.
Yeah. There's unused pieces too. Like the eagle can plug into the back of Kireno.
That
to
looks
give
so
it like
cool.
tiny wings. But I think that the joints are probably going to be used for the Phoenix in some way. So we'll see. But I think they are all gonna combine because you need a shot of everybody in the cockpit at once. All 14 of them.
Absolutely.
Well, my question is, with them, like some of them, like the Libra one, being their core or whatever it is, and the body attached to it. Do you think are the core gonna expand to large size, or are they gonna have them kind of like Shinkenger, like a little toy form of them, where they hang out, interact? And...
I don't know if the cores themselves, the balls, are actually going to grow, or if the mecha, or if the mecha themselves are, have a copy of it,
right?
That it's large size, because the cores are their cockpits. So it'd be kind of weird to throw out the thing that they transform with and make. I mean, no, not even Tokyuja didn't really even do it because they had their trains already grown. It was just their
right. They have their mini trains too.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think it's just that in the toys it works out that you can switch and go back and forth. In the show, I think it's probably just going to be already that
it's
size.
probably they're going to have their mini core that is the source of their, little transformation, and then they're going to have their core that actually goes into the big robots and all that stuff. That would make a lot of sense.
But I could be wrong. We'll find out tomorrow, I guess.
Yeah. We're gonna find out in a couple
later
hours,
today.
so-
Or later today.
Yeah, later today.
Later today, that's right. We're gonna do it later today.
I mean, we're getting 5 of the 9 tomorrow.
I thought we were only
Probably
getting 3 of the 9, unless those episode
Ah.
summaries are
We're gonna-
full.
I thought the
We-
show starts with 9.
No, it starts with 3,
Okay.
and then those 3 find 2 in the first episode,
Okay.
and then I think by episode 3, 4 we have all 9.
Okay. I thought it was 9 right away. I was like, wow, that's
Well, that's
they-
basically right away.
Yeah.
There's
Right.
usually a
It's-
couple episodes of them maybe finding their powers and coming together as a team, depending on the series. So,
Right. Like Orange is supposed to start off as a bad guy.
Mhm.
So you need a couple of episodes to have him actually doing bad guy stuff. We'll kind of fall
Evil
flat.
Orange
JD
Ranger.
unless he
set up.
just shows up and is like, "I'm evil," they're like, "No, you're not." He's
You're
like,
not?
"Okay,
All
you're
right.
right. All right."
I know 5 for episode 1, and I think Gold and Silver come episode 2, and maybe
Nice.
Pink as well.
Did we find out who's subbing them or not yet?
I haven't
Nope,
seen anybody willing to do it. I mean, if I had the wherewithal, I could probably do it, but I tried that at one point,
I'm
and it
sure
did not.
the typical groups will sub it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
There was that one time that I created a subgroup.
I know.
Yeah?
I still wish I could get those to work because that looked hilarious.
Did you not?
No, I never got it to work.
Just use the overtime raws and it's just fine. That's what I based it off of.
Yeah.
Not their translation, but I based it off of their Gustavum's encode thing.
Darren's
Good
doing
timing.
really good. This is like 15 minutes straight now.
He's contributing.
He is. He was shaking his head
Contribute more
no
than I
to
am.
some of the conversation earlier. They're talking to you, Bubba. So-
He's thinking. Let's give him a minute to think.
So let's move on from like all these cool toys and stuff. Let's talk about the show real quick and what we're hoping to get out of the show. Kind of episode summaries that have come out. Son,
Yeah.
don't push buttons.
I hope the
Um,
characters are as good as Zhuoger, but I hope the story isn't crap like Zhuoger.
I'm hoping that having so many Rangers this year does not cause issues. Oh, Mommy
Well,
just
you know
entered the
what I
room.
think about that in the past episodes, in the past seasons, there are so many episodes where it's kind of like filler episode. So I'm hoping that with this many Rangers, there will be less filler episode and more character-driven episodes.
That's what I was thinking, because if you have 9 to 12 Rangers all at one time, that's at least like 12 episodes there that you could spend an entire... Oh, God! He flew away.
Just flew away. The craziest thing I've ever seen. Bye, son.
But, you could, since everyone is essentially, it appears to be from a different planet and different culture, like, you could go back in time and have, like, that's 12 whole episodes of character development, on each individual
You have a
character.
lot. I think it's going to be a weird and challenging thing for them to balance, because the last time we had a show, a Super Sentai series with absolutely no filler, except for maybe an episode, was Geki Ranger. And Geki Ranger is a great show.
Yeah.
But what happens when you don't have filler for like the little kids and people who've been watching it for a while in Japan?
You're the little kids.
Like Geki Ranger, yeah, I know. Geki Ranger, like, speeds. Like, it doesn't stop. And for some people, I know that could be a little bit jarring. And it also...
For us that like to sit there and watch the entire 50-episode run in
Right.
12 hours,
Right, it's great.
that speed's good.
Right, but I don't know. I think it's looking really positive. I was worried that it was going to be a Mega Ranger situation where they had all this cool space stuff, but they never went past the moon. And that would have been an issue for me, but they are going to be hopping from planet to planet. I'm hoping Toei doesn't blow the budget in like the first 10 episodes. They said that they had to like shoot a lot on islands off like the coast of Japan to make it look really alien, kind of what they did with Kamen Rider Hibiki, where he was kind of just like in these smoky looking islands. So I don't know. It could be a good time.
What are the chances of them, like the past seasons, running into similar theme Sentais? I mean, could we maybe get a Mega Ranger involved and things like that?
I would be very surprised if Mega Ranger wasn't. I mean, Mega Red is like the suit anyway is in the new Tyson film.
Yeah,
I'd be surprised because it's Mega Ranger's 20th anniversary, and you have a space show on one end of their spectrum and a video game show on the other end, and I don't think that's by mistake.
Yeah.
X8 and Q Ranger are going to have some sort of TV show special in the spring. So
that's become like mandatory now.
Yeah,
like I absolutely look forward to that every single year since they did it with Gaim
and Tokuger
and the train jerks.
even though the Tyson film is coming out a little bit earlier, and they are treating it like it is the versus movie for X8 and Q Ranger. So if there was one year where they wanted to skip the TV show team up, it would probably be this one because Q Ranger's going to have a lot to do in the first 10 episodes, like establishing the 9 characters that it has to bring up.
Right.
And that would, if the movie comes out on the movie comes out right, like the day after the Power Rangers movie does. So they only have like 5 episodes to get everybody in, and then they have to bring X8 in. It might be a little bit busy, especially since they're going to have to time travel and all that. Or Toei would just, say X8, you're suddenly in the future for some reason.
They could just put it in a different time slot. I don't think it necessarily has to be at the same time as the last couple of years.
Yeah, they've said it's far into the future, but that could mean anything for Toei. Far into the future isn't exactly expressive, and we don't see Earth, so we don't know what's happening on Earth.
Yeah, so they could go through a wormhole and then find themselves in another dimension.
Yeah.
Another
things can happen.
Galaxy. Lost Galaxy.
I mean, it's the sequel to Lost Galaxy. It's the sequel to Power Rangers in Space.
I will say this: speaking of the Orion Ranger and his belt, if this makes it into Power Rangers and we don't have some sort of reference to the Lights of Orion, I will be personally miffed.
What about Orion the Silver Ranger? Huh?
Yeah.
I was gonna get that, and I was gonna see if any of the toys involved with the Orion Ranger had lights, and if I ever did a video on them, I would make a joke like, Lights of Orion. Let's find him. I think it's a MacGuffin. Nothing happened.
Let me ask you guys: have you guys, for those of you who've been on Twitter and following this stuff for years now, have you seen this level of hype coming out for a series since Gokaiger?
No,
not
I have not.
Gokaiger, no.
This is being covered by non-tokusatsu stuff. I see purely Power Rangers and even just normal geek sites actually covering Q Ranger for some reason, and it's boggling. I like it.
It's I think it's a very interesting place to be as a fan of Toku right now. And the reason I think Q Ranger is getting the coverage is because Power Rangers has had this resurgence with the movie. Mm-hmm. Hopefully the movie is well-liked and it doesn't kind of turn the other way, because it is kind of nice, but I think that's part of it too. And then also, space kind of sells itself when you have space in a show.
I don't think it's a rumor at this point, since it's been confirmed that Toei actually talked with Bandai of America.
Yeah, Bandai America and Bandai Japan co-developed this series for an easier adaptation to the U.S. toy line, most likely in 2019.
What does this mean for Yu Ozier?
Because if you think about it, and you look at the numbers that showcase how much money was made for each toy line, since Q Ranger or KyoRuger, God, all these K's and Rus and Rangers. Since KyoRuger, which was Dino Charge, but Sentai equivalent, whatever, nerds, their sales have kind of gone soft because they haven't had that gimmicky line like they did with the Zudenshi.
Yep.
And then also with the Ranger keys and stuff like that. And so that's
They
what
thought
Bandai
they'd
America...
have it with the trains because Japanese kids love trains, but it didn't really do so hot because you couldn't really do anything with
The
the
thing
train.
is you need that gimmick line that goes with the changer. Whatever your Morpher changer is going to be, you have to have that gimmick line. And that's why they went with Ninja over to Kyuger, is because they thought it was a little more gimmicky. They were going to turn those horrible, horrible little foam stars of crap into some sort of gimmick.
Into horrible, horrible stars of gross plastic. I get it.
Yeah, and so unfortunately, I don't think Bandai America is going to see the same success with Ninja Steel. I mean, they might, just from residuals from the Power Rangers movie being super, super popular. I think I read somewhere that it's already generated over $250 million social media interactions.
Yeah. Lionsgate put out their press conference or their whatever quarterly meeting, and it was making a lot for them, which is nice.
Yeah, so Power Rangers, and it's still one of the most viewed trailers for a movie coming out this year, period. So I think you
most
might
of
see
those
some...
are for me, just hitting refresh, just
checking that
watching it
smile,
again.
that mouth moving.
I do this a few hundred times. It's like I've already seen the movie.
Yeah, since the last episode of Talkin Toku, Josh has watched the trailer about 600 times trying to see if that mouth really does move.
You are not kidding. I did. That was absolute horror. And looking at I paused it, I freeze framed it, I went frame by frame. It's only 3 frames, and so it's really hard to gauge. And so I can't tell if the mouth itself is actually moving or if it was just in a thing to begin with. But that also sort of leads into the thing that if it was, in fact, even if it wasn't moving in that scene, it did not look like the generic.
Right.
Yeah, it was kind of like a
thing they get.
Yeah.
Their mouths are usually
They have a little bit of a frowny thing going on.
He's got just really, really big lips.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I like in a man. Big old lips, and make sure it's covered with metal, and then the red spandex.
I was in Japan for when KYURANGE'S was on,
mm-hmm.
and you could tell that it was popular because my kids that I taught would have discussions with me in the classroom about the fact that the show was on. And these are 12-year-old kids, which is way past the usual age group for the show.
Did they ever ask you about Power Rangers?
What happened?
Did your kids ever ask you about Power Rangers? I was always curious if kids in Japan even know that what they're watching on TV is getting horribly butchered.
They might have
into
talked
an
about
American
SPD.
series.
That depends on when.
Depends on when.
That was brought back.
I never got any questions about it except to say that I watched, how do I know about it? And I had to say I watched the English version that we stole from you.
And we make more money than you do.
Yep.
I have a question. How do you guys feel about that tweet that came out from Power Rangers about saying goodbye to the spandex and all that stuff? How do you feel about that?
I don't think I saw that.
I don't think I saw that either.
They sent out a tweet. It was on Twitter. It's a promoted Twitter, and it says, "Say goodbye to spandex. Welcome to the new age of something." Can't remember the exact quote, but
rebranding.
I don't know. It's kind of
it's probably talking about the movie.
No, it is. It is about the movie.
Yeah,
I can tell you. So you guys know I was, I have a friendship with Greg, who used to work at Bandai. And one of our conversations that we had when we were at Power Morphicon together having lunch was the differences between Super Sentai and Kamen Rider. And one of the things that he said was always so frustrating for him was you look at Kamen Rider and they have these cool armored suits. It's not just a guy wearing a spandex suit or anything like that. They come up with different cool armors and stuff for them to wear. And he was and you look at a Tokuger and it looks like, we all agreed, it looks like they're wearing pajamas. And he's that I'd love to see them take Super Sentai and kind of grow it up a little bit to the point where they can wear armor. Their suit is an actual cool suit and not just spandex with a cool helmet. And then lo and behold, you get Kyuranger and everything you see now. Everyone's got armor, the helmets and those face plate masks. The visors.
Oh, I love the star details.
Beautifully designed.
If Aniki can start doing that, I'm probably going to spend thousands upon thousands of dollars ordering the helmets, except for the starfish, because that's just weird, because that thing sticks out like a... That's something Josh would buy, but not me. But I mean, that's the same idea, is that now you have, these... They're like a combination between Bokanger and, some other series.
Yeah, it's got a little... They have a little bit more presence, which is nice, and I like that each suit is its own thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you look at one character, and you can tell a lot about the character from how the suit is designed. The silver suit is so, like, beautiful when you get up close to the detail. The snake skin. I love it's weird, but the blue suit just being, like, Cookie Monster fur, because he's a wolf, is amazing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool little design quirks in there.
And I love that. And one thing that I notice is that, the characters that are more human and not played by, another suit actor in a thing, their suits are more, kind of like the standard Sentai suit, where it's mostly spandex, even though they do have some more like chest details and cool stuff like that, but they're all like very similar. But then all of like the beast, alien, and robot characters all have like these like armor plated. All of them are different. They all look awesome. And I really like how different everyone is, yet they still look like a cohesive team. They still have those design tweaks that maintain the same throughout all of them. And I'm all in. Like I'm loving it.
How do you guys think the teams, especially the red, is going to behave? Because if you guys watch the handoff this year, normally you can tell from those handoff how the red behaves, and this red seems playful, right? Like
little playful, little trickster.
Yeah.
So I had this discussion with people online, because people are, or I shouldn't say all people. I kind of like both the serious reds and the what they call in Japan fireball. So like your Deca Red, your all those characters. Duo Eagle, who we just had, would fall into this more serious red category. Like, he wasn't dead serious, but he was pretty serious in battle, and he was a leader, and he didn't really joke around too much.
Right.
And when you have that the year prior, you kind of have to follow that up with, yes, I love that picture.
Yeah.
You have to follow it up with, like, a more energetic person. So he is going to be more in the fireball category. Also, his character is that he kind of just gets lucky in battle, and that's how he wins. So he's not really, he's not really like he'll be a good fighter, but the way that it's like in episode 1, he's supposed to crash land in the middle of the battle and end up like saving everybody, but he didn't mean to do it. He actually crashed. So it's like one of those things. So
I could learn to love that kind of ongoing gag.
Mm-hmm.
Where the rest of the team is like a good fighter except for him, and he just keeps getting lucky.
Right.
The bad guy goes and trips and falls, and that's why they don't hit him, and he just happens to turn around and be like,
he takes his giant sword to swipe at a monster and misses completely, but there's a monster behind him, and he accidentally smacks him in the head and like completely destroys and annihilates the monster behind him.
Yeah,
Stuff like that, I would love. I'll get so into that.
Well, that's why we love Hakase, right? From Gokaiger.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same kind of character. There was a thing in the second toy catalog that came out, which kind of, if it is in the show, and I think we talked about it, Chris, their commander is going to have a roulette in the base that sort of tells him who to send out on missions, which kind of makes me think he's a little off his rocker. Because he's letting the mission.
Please have another owner.
Yeah, it kind of feels like that. But it's an actual roulette machine, like a Japanese roulette machine, not Russian roulette. So the little collectibles come out.
Who's going to battle today?
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. And the thing is, you need red, at least for right now, until you get purple. You need red to make the robot. And because he's so lucky, it seems like he's going to be like everybody else is going to like be switching out, but he'll keep getting called onto the missions because that's his thing. is that he's
Well,
lucky.
That's
And his name
another
is
thing
Lucky,
that-
so you know.
Yeah.
That's another thing that I was thinking. Like, if they're gonna do it where you like sort of see them inside their cockpits, like how are you gonna do the scene where they usually have all the actors on the stage all together? Like, how's that
Oh yeah,
gonna work?
that's probably not going to happen. At least not right now.
Secondary
if
mech,
they-
third mech, something
Secondary
like that.
mech. If they really want to do that scene, they'll either do what Ginga Man did, which is they kind of cheated. So Ginga Man had separate cockpits. But when
Yeah,
they
just
like
lined
when
up
they, right. So they lined them up where they had them in a circle, and then it kind of it had that same effect. Or for the final combination, they'll design an actual traditional cockpit and stick everybody in there.
I could totally see the final mech being a large, by itself ship that has enough ports to attach every single one of them, because every single Voyager that comes out can be an arm or a leg. It has a transformation for both. So that being said, I could see them doing something like that, and then like you said, Matt, with Washi Pink, people have been able to discover, oh hey, you can put this on the back. So I think there's even more to it.
There's a lot going on, and I think the ship that they ride around in is the Orion. And if you look at it, the back is sort of futuristic, and the front is like a statue. I'm assuming that the last robot, or the Orion mecha, whatever it is actually hidden under the statue portion. And it's it'll probably bust out.
What if each one of those little
Qtama.
those little
Tutamas
are actually representing like a dot in the constellation in the end.
Yeah, it could be. And I noticed another interesting thing on the Morpher. If you look at it's got like the oval shape. If you look when you put the Qtama onto the center, it makes like a ring of planets. So it's got like, I think 3 dots on the outer rings, and then you put the one in the center like a sun. Which is kind of cool. So they have a lot of like space imagery going on too. So.
Well, and you can't forget either Jason Bischoff from Saban Brands Global Licensing. He kind of teased on Twitter back when Kyuranger first leaked or was shared early. I don't know if you want to call it that way.
Yeah.
He basically said like you have no idea what's coming. Like
right.
You don't even know. And then even when all this stuff finally came out with like the Q2 catalog, he quoted the Toku Nation tweet regarding all the new images, and was basically like, hey, you guys still have no idea all the beautiful and amazing things coming with this series. And we haven't even had episode 1 yet.
Yeah, I know. Everything has been really, it's well designed. Like I think every year you have different varying opinions. Like I know Juoja
last year was garbage.
Well, turn a lot of people off, but the actual design, it's not the design. The design is good. The aesthetic is probably off-putting to some people. I think this year we have a good design and an even better aesthetic. So it's an easier it's easier to digest.
Well, here it's like you know what, for Toku, everyone was like, when are they going to do something video game related? When are they going to go back to space? Nah. Here you go. Yep. You got video game with X8. You got space with Super Sentai. The mech, there's going to be something. I seem to like the Qtamas. I think they're neat.
Yeah.
You just spin and click it, but I like the fact that they light up in Kurano. I'm looking forward to see how they work in the Changer. And I think it's what Super Sentai needed after, let's be real, 2 years of disappointing returns for what they're putting into it. I mean, I get that people like Zuoger. I get it. The show, and the characters. Yeah, we all had parts that we liked, but the toys were absolute garbage.
Yeah.
In the sense that they were just blocks. I mean, even the mini plot are boring. I have all this mini plot that I haven't even built yet because all I'm doing is building a block.
What killed not killed it, because I still, again, like I said, I buy them every year regardless of my opinion on them, which is probably not intelligent, but I do it anyway.
I see Go Buster in your background.
Oh yeah, I have everything. It's somewhere in there. I think what hurt the toy line for me a little bit was Whale, because when the final combination happened, instead of using all the parts, you kind of just stacked up the blocks as legs, and and the mid-season combination is so much cooler than the final combination. And even in the opening credits, they don't change to the final combination. They kept it as, this is the combination we want the show to be remembered by. It's the mid-season. Yeah. So I don't know.
The thing that I am glad that they did is that after like the third episode, they stopped shouting the names of the cubes during the transformation because that was so annoying. I hated it. Wasn't as annoying as Onari from Kamen Rider Ghost, which Kamen Rider Ghost is the only Kamen Rider show I've ever actively hated, and I cried because I've never actively hated a Kamen Rider show. I know I'm going off of on a tangent right here, but this is where my brain's going. Like, there have been series like Fies where I didn't really enjoy it, and Hibiki kind of fell apart, but there were still instances of those shows that, when it came down to it, it was still Kamen Rider. I still could enjoy it on it's a dude in a suit and he's punching monsters kind of way. So that's how I could enjoy it. Ghost couldn't even bring me into that because I hated every single character with a passion to the point where my blood pressure was boiling every time I heard the opening.
You can tell how a show is going to be, I've decided, based on the theme song. If you enjoy the theme song...
I like the Ghost theme song. And I love the Ghost designs.
X8's theme song is pretty awesome.
X8's theme song is like...
it's pretty awesome.
X8's theme song is doing... In general, yeah. X8's theme song is running really high numbers in Japan.
Well, it's the singer who did the end song to Parasite.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
really good. He's a really good singer.
It's getting played on like mainstream TV shows and stuff like that. Like people who have no knowledge of Kamen Rider at all.
Well, okay, I have a question. What if, with all these hype and all these whatever, what if the show turned out to be bad? Which is a possibility. Again, the best thing about Super Sentai and Kamen Rider is that in 50 episodes, it's going to change. So if it ends up bad, they go back to work and make another one.
Here's the thing. If the show sucks, then the show sucks, and the ratings continue to go down, which they've been doing steadily for 10, 15 years
Years and years, yeah.
But if the toy sales go up, it's considered a success.
Right.
And really, that's going to be the determining factor is the toy sales.
Like,
they've been down the last 2 years.
Toys look phenomenal.
Yeah. To go back to Geki Ranger as an example. Geki Ranger Geki Ranger had a rough go, but Geki Ranger is a good show by my definition. The ratings were not amazing, and the toy sales were even less amazing.
I don't like the lack of belts, but the show itself is good.
Right. So it's a matter of, Go Busters did bad too, unfortunately. But like Go Onger, a lot of people were turned off by that show until it became RPM. But the toy sales in Japan for it were
phenomenal.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
So it's Toei looks at it from an artistic standpoint, but Bandai, is kind of first in the pecking order. And if the show doesn't make any money, then it's it's not. It doesn't matter how good the show is. It's not going to be successful.
All right, just real quick.
Because Bandai, when it comes down to it, even though Toei owns and has creative control over everything, Bandai basically tells everyone what's going to happen because they're the ones that are really footing the bill for all of this.
Bandai's
they're the
money,
ones with the biggest stake.
Bandai's
if
I'm gonna read
Sentai and Kamen Rider were to just evaporate, Toei still has all of their animation, all of their other stuff. They're a big production company. They can still keep going. But if Bandai's toys all explode and everyone hates them, then they're going to tank. So obviously they're going to put a lot of effort into this stuff.
Definitely.
Before we get going too long, I got to read some stuff from Twitter. So we asked on our Talkin Toku Twitter account, people's hopes and dreams for KYURANGER. Like, what are their hopes? What are their dreams? The Geek Cauldron, which is actually Rider Ranger 335. But the joke is with those quarter 2 catalogs that came out, it was plastered the Geek Cauldron. He said, I hope we get a White Ranger and a Ranger key set ASAP. And the show to be a good show. Our good buddy Reggie at True KROOO said Purple Dragon Pimp Staff rules, and I must own it. That's the Ryu Commanders.
Agreed.
Mr. Yellow at Mr. Yellow. I hope the Space Sentai remains a Space Sentai, i.e. not suddenly trapped on Earth like the Third Doctor, and also a White Ranger. Our good buddy Matt, Baltmatrix at Baltmatrix. His hopes that the toys are awesome, the characters are well written, the villains look good and they're memorable, and it actually takes place in space. His dreams that it holds his attention for 50 episodes, that we have more than just 2 female Rangers for this entire crew of 600 Rangers, and that he's given a reason to remember the names of all the characters.
He's asking for way too much.
That second combo,
I
I
agree.
can tell you this. That second combo, the picture when they all form up, that toy looked heavy.
Yeah.
That toy looked like he can kill somebody.
Yeah.
Some more stuff. Mighty number 23399 at Armor Hide AK says, after seeing the 11th Ranger, I'm somewhat concerned the show will be overcrowded with no real character development to happen. Benjamin at Spite Face Ben says, all I want's a good show. I'm giving it 10 episode tops. If it's not doing it for me, I'm dropping it. Which seems to be the quarter mark.
Yeah.
For all these shows.
10,
I mean, I gave
10,
those
I
10
usually
episodes.
try to give it, the first 4 or 5 episodes usually ramp up and keep your attention. But then usually around episode 25 to like 35, they start getting into a lull where it's mostly filler. So that's when people tend to drop off.
But hey, if they're going to release, 16 Rangers total in this series, they have plenty of 10 episode marks to build up to new Rangers. But we're sitting way longer than what we usually do, so we're going to kind of wrap things up. So let's go through real quick and get final some final thoughts and opinions. Matt, go ahead and start us off as far as it's kind of your final word on everything Q Ranger.
Yeah, I'm excited. I don't think I've been this excited for a Super Sentai show or a Toei show in a long time. Probably not since Gokaiger. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to keep my expectations at a medium level because I don't want to be like super disappointed. But it looks good. Everything looks good.
Yeah. Tom?
Well, as you, Chris and Jordan know, I've been burned by the mecha game for a few years now. So, I decided to, take a sit back and wait and see approach with Zyuohger, and I'm kind of glad I did because I think the mini plot in the end was a better choice than the regular DX. But looking at these catalog releases every single day, it gets that little bit harder to not jump into.
Right.
It's getting hard. It's getting hard.
Well, it's nice to get something that because what you had with ToQger was all trains. Like it didn't matter. You were getting a train. You were getting a train, and it didn't matter. You're just getting a train with a different color. Some cool different head on it. When it came to Zyuohger, you were getting a block. Didn't matter. You're getting a block. With Q Ranger, we're finally away from the whole. Hey, you're getting this. You're getting a sphere. Yeah, you're gonna get a sphere that interacts with the actual Voyager, but you have a snake. You have obviously we have a dragon. We have a bear on a unicycle. I mean, it's that kind of surprise. Like, oh, what are they gonna come up with next? And you don't have to sit there and be like, oh god, it's a block again. What kind of block is this gonna be? Oh hey, this time it's a bat that looks just like a bird.
Yeah.
So that's the cool change. So yeah, I can totally see, because I'm the same way right now. I'm just kind of like, I'm so glad I got all the first wave stuff. But Josh,
I want my space station. I want all of them to combine in a big pile of balls and flappy parts and several shafts all up in there, so I can just like wear it on my head like a helmet. And that's really all I want. Just I want them to all connect together and then like float. They can float around in space and it's awesome. And then they could like attach to like their command center and they can fly around and it'll be like the Terra Venture, but not just a plot device. and I would like it.
It sounds like
Please.
Deep Space Nine you're describing. Like
I feel like we just
basically,
got
yeah.
into like a bad porn. We're talking about balls and shafts, and now
do you
Deep
mean
Space
bad?
Nine. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, not bad. Innovative.
Come on, an army of like 15 connected balls with 3 shafts. That's not a bad porn.
that's a party.
It's a party. I feel like that was probably Bandai's pitch to Toei for the show.
Balls and shafts, and they
Balls and
connect.
shafts.
Do it. My final thoughts on stuff. I'm excited for the show. Hopefully it pans out. I think everyone's been hoping and waiting for a show that keeps the masses' attention, like Gokaiger. Because I think since Gokaiger, every series has been, a niche. Tokyuger had its niche. Zooger had its niche. Nobody liked Ninja. Go Busters had its niche. There's a small group that are like, yeah, this show's awesome. Since Gokaiger, we haven't had that, and I know there's a lot of people
Well,
like
Kyuryuger
Gokaiger.
was up there.
Kyuryuger
I say
was
Kyuryuger
alright.
was up there because it was very popular.
Yeah,
It was popular. So I
it
would
kept
say
my attention till
since
the
Gokaiger,
end.
that was probably the most popular since Gokaiger.
Yeah, but it was popular in a different way than Gokaiger.
but he
Exactly.
also had a
was-
large cast. He also had
Yeah.
a large cast.
So
Yeah.
hopefully it comes together well. I'd love to have Super Sentai flourish and be one of those things where it's just as talked about as much as Power Rangers is, because it feels like right now everything on that I see on Twitter is always about Power Rangers, the movie, the interesting parts about Ninja Steel. But that'll be another episode. So, anyways,
It's awesome.
we're gonna try to record tomorrow. For anyone who's gonna watch the live stream,
Posts. Yeah.
post live stream, so we can sit there and be like, none of us know except for maybe Matt what just happened. Matt, tell us what
I
just
can
happened.
I can summarize for everybody. This will be good.
All right, so we'll do it. We'll do it right after X-Aid, because if I'm gonna watch KYURANGER, I'm gonna watch X-Aid right
X-Aid.
afterwards. So we'll do that. I think we did a Twitter poll and everyone was like, "Yeah, you guys should do a live stream." So I might get a couple people on and try to live stream in the background while that's on. I don't know. But there's a lot of hype for this, and a lot of people are excited for it. So let's give them what they want. Go through real quick and let everyone know where you can find everybody. So obviously we are Talkin Toku. You can find us on Twitter at Talkin Toku. On my screen, it's in the upper left corner. I don't know how this is going to pan out when we actually edit the video. But anyways, Matt, where can everyone find you on social media and on the internet?
Everybody can find me on Twitter at @TheRealMattHunt, and then Dukemon on Ranger Board.
Cool. Josh, where can people find you on the internet? Aside from, like,
Pornhub.
I was gonna say, all right. So I'm Harry Beaver 278 on Pornhub. No, you can find me JManDX on Twitters. That is with 2 N's. There are at least 3 other J-Mans. One of them is a recording artist, so I've got your number, dude. I'm coming for you. Not really. I'm kidding. That would be a terroristic threat, and I would never do that. But anyway, the Twitters. But you can also find me on CollectionDX.com doing our things, and they also have a Twitter at CollectionDX. So go out there and enjoy reading my prose about toys that no one cares about, but like 3 of us.
Tommy.
And you can find me on Twitter at Soulinkchu, SOULINKCHU, and J-Man over here, I post up random pictures of toys that I get and post them in funny pictures and whatever, funny captions. So
He is also the East Coast Convention representative for TokuNation.com.
Pebu.
Unless things don't work out and I have to fly out last second next week, so that'll be fun. You guys can find me on Twitter at TokuChris. You can also find me at TokuNation, TokuNation.com being the website. Yeah, thank you guys for coming in. Matt, thank you for your time today and for
Thank
sharing
you.
all this insight. It's been a fun couple of months leading up to the premiere of KYURANGER here, and it's really exciting because if you think about it, it's like this is the most hyped Super Sentai, and then a month later we have a very hyped movie. And X-Aid, we'll talk about X-Aid one of these episodes. That show is phenomenal. If you're not watching X-Aid, you're missing
Crazy.
out. You're missing out.
Watch
big
X-Aid.
time. Just for the music alone. I mean, even the in-show music is freaking crazy.
I just miss his bike.
Spoilers. So,
I'm
anyhow,
not there
that's,
They don't know what I
that's
mean if
all
they
we
don't know
have.
what's
That's all
already
the
happened.
time we
Yeah.
have. That is
It's
all
okay.
the time we have. So thank you guys, and we will catch you next time. Thanks for watching. Please like this video. Please subscribe. Make us feel important, popular, and what we're doing matters in the world and makes a difference. Were you just fingering your nipples, Tom?
Yes, and to subscribe here, right? Like maybe right here. There.
Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you, and we'll talk to you next time.